How to not be needy in sales. Hi, I'm Chris Freeman, the closer clients want. And in this video, I'm going to be discussing, so how do you not be needy when you're selling? Well, the first thing you need to understand is, where does this neediness come from? And for me, there's two core reasons why. Is that it's born from desperation and frustration. You're frustrated because you haven't hit the target that you believe you could hit, or you've had something happen and now you're earning half the amount that you were the previous month. You're desperate because whatever you've been trying hasn't been working. Like, frustration and desperation are kind of similar in a way, but they are different. But the thing is that they are both making you a lot more short-sighted and a lot more narrow-minded when you need to just simply take a step back and just think and actually see all the opportunities out there, because chances are you're not doing the right things or you haven't done it enough and you're making excuses. So one of the things you need to understand before you try to tackle this frustration or you try to tackle this desperation is that you need to take a step back and just write down what you believe are the key things that are holding you back, okay? Or the things born, that the frustration was born from. So maybe you earned 20k last month and this month you're earning 5 to 10k. You just write that down and write down why you think, just short sentence why. Once you've listed down all the reasons, okay, that's what you do know. Okay, what you then need to ask yourself is, what don't I know? What don't I know that is hurting me? Okay, or making me frustrated? You need to ask yourself that question, because whenever you encounter a problem, there's going to be a side which you do know, which is good, and there's going to be a side which you don't know, which is the thing that is hurting you, because you can't see it. You're so short-sighted right now that that's your problem. And if you don't know, if you can't identify it, then find someone who can. Okay, look them up, type them up if you have to, hire them. Okay, or maybe you have some colleagues or friends who are better and in the same industry as you, and maybe they can lend you some help. Okay? Because you can't do this alone. You need to understand that the level that the person who got you to the level you are now is not the same person that is required. Actually, the same person who got you to that level can't take you to the next level, because they're not geared for it. So you need to change it. And you need to understand, you don't know everything. That's why you need an outside opinion, because you can't do this alone. And one of the things I would suggest is that you need to take a look at your current environment. Because if you're in sales and you're needy, are you actually surrounding yourself with objects, or is your environment kind of facilitating that's adding to all that neediness? Okay, for example, do you find yourself surrounded by people who are mostly needy themselves? Okay, or is the objects that you're using, are they very cheap and you're trying to sell at a very expensive product? Okay, or is most of the environments that you're in, are they cheap? Okay, because selling starts with yourself and your mind. And if you're coming from a place of cheapness, you can't expect to sell that high price package. Okay, it just does not work. As my mentor once said, you can't get rich feeling poor. Just does not work. So another thing I would suggest is that you also need to be grateful, because chances are you're not grateful of what you currently have. And if you're not grateful, it's really hard to give someone else that opportunity through what you're selling. So one way that I keep my gratitude in check so that I have a more abundant mindset. So even if the phone call that I'm having right now doesn't work, I have that abundant mindset. I'm not worried that no one's going to come and want to hire me or want to speak to me. It just doesn't happen. Even if I don't have anyone lined up for that week, I know they're still going to come, because the next week I might have 5, 6, 7 clients who want to speak to me about hiring me or even connecting. So that's good. One way that I help to develop this abundance mindset is I simply meditate. I just sit there and I just take deep breaths. And I just think about what I'm grateful about. The people who I'm grateful about, my mother, my brother, and certain other people who I speak with often. And then I think about what are the objects or that I have that I'm wearing that I am grateful of. For example, I'm grateful that my laptop is working. I'm grateful that I have my own room, that I have a chair to sit on, and I have a nice comfy bed. Just being grateful of these simple things helps you to not be as needy, because you then start to see, maybe my situation isn't as bad as I thought it was, okay? Because I still have this, and this, so it can't be that bad. I can, the situation I'm in isn't as big as I thought it was. Maybe I just blew it out of proportion. So I first think about the people who I'm grateful for, the people, and then the things that I'm grateful for, and then I might think about what I'm grateful in general, and then I'll think about what are the abilities that I have that I'm grateful for. Maybe it's my ability to connect with people. Maybe it's a new skill that I've learned, okay, that I'm grateful of. And then, as I'm thinking about all of that, I make sure I take long, deep breaths in and out, because that really helps to calm you down and to slower your thinking. It also helps for you to say out, what are you grateful for? Because when you verbalize something, it's so much more powerful than if you think it. Because when you verbalize it out, it's no longer in there, it's out in that world. You can't take it back, okay? It's kind of like an affirmation, if you will. And we don't normally say things that we don't believe in, so you need to just say it out. The next thing I do is then I imagine that all those things that I am grateful for, that they're taken away from me. And then I imagine them all coming back to me. And that helps to multiply that gratitude that I have for what I have now, which really helps to improve my gratitude. And then I will think about, for the next, 5 minutes, about the life that I want. Because now I'm in this gratitude mindset, it becomes a lot easier to think about what you want instead of what you're frustrated about. And it just helps to align you with that vision that you want. Because you can't be grateful and needy at the same time. It just doesn't work. It's very difficult. It's like saying, how can you be sad? How can you be angry and happy at the same time? Actually, maybe you could, but in a sense, it's almost like an oxymoron or a paradox, whichever one actually. They just don't work. Neediness and being grateful, they don't match, and there's only room for one. And you need to practice this gratitude muscle. Okay, being grateful and not being needy is a muscle, a mental muscle in itself. And the more you can improve this, the better you can do. So, one of the things that I'm doing actually to help take me from one level to the next, from 5 figures to 6 figures, 6 figures to 7 figures, and I'll keep doing this from when I hit 7 figures to 8 figures, is that I'll start attending events, or I'll go to places where millionaires are more likely to go, billionaires are more likely to go. Okay, I might decide to spend a day going to an event, or going to rent out a room in a hotel for an event that I'm staying at, that more expensive? No, the word isn't expensive. Richer people would get, so that I have an even greater abundance mindset, more even grateful. And that's one way you can do it all. But if you don't have enough money, then just learn to be more grateful of the things that you have. And if you can, just grab some cash, take some cash out of your account and have it in front of you. Have a big stack of money that you can play around with. Get comfortable with the idea that you always have money, because you really do. And let's say you don't have enough money. You really don't, and you want to invest in a program, whether it's 2,000, 5,000, 10,000, whatever it is. Okay, that number is just a barrier, not only for you, but when you're trying to close your clients over the phone or in person, that number is just a barrier to see how badly you want something. Because when I invested in a $2,500 program, it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I was literally broke. I had nothing. Actually, my account was minus $2,000, and I had no intention of investing in the program at the end of a webinar that I knew was going to sell me. But I was so well sold on what was being sold there that I decided to ask my brother, who we had agreed in a couple of years ago that I wouldn't ask him again, because I did when I was struggling. I'd never ask him again. But then I asked myself, what's more important, my fear or the mission that I want to have, the person who I want to become? So I convinced myself by doing what I wasn't willing to do before. So those are a couple of examples, and that's kind of one of my stories of how I overcame my frustration and neediness in sales. And if you have any stories of your own or any comments, then just feel free to let me know in the comments down below. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I look forward to seeing the next one, and I'll see you next time.